Let's speak to Niamh Sweeney, the Deputy General Secretary of the National Education Union, who's on the picket line as we speak. Good morning to you, Niamh.
Morning.
I don't know if you heard the tail end of that, maybe. Siobhan Davis, English teacher in Hertfordshire, says all the strike action Wednesday and Friday in England is not fair on students. And, you don't even know the latest pay offer, so hold your fire.
Well, we want exactly the same thing as Siobhan, don't we? We want the STLB report to be published. Gillian Keegan's had it on her desk for a number of weeks now. That we are extremely concerned that there is pressure being put on the Education Department from the Treasury not to honour that leaked 6.5 offer. We want to ensure that it's fully funded. But so far, the Secretary of State has been absolutely silent on that. And our members are absolutely adamant that unless she starts negotiations, unless she starts to come around the table and talk to us about ending this dispute, that they will continue with their strike action. There is no good time to take strike action when you're a teacher. These people I'm standing with on the picket line this morning absolutely know the impact that lack of funding is having on the children that they educate. And they want to make sure that there is an education profession in the future that ensures that all children have the education that they deserve.
So what are they missing out on? I mean, I asked from a kind of interested point of view. I kind of know the answer in terms of my daughter's school. Her school is closed today. It's closed on Friday. There are many parents, not all obviously, but many parents who will be standing with some of the teachers from her school today on the picket line. But what when you say they want to give pupils a good education, what are you talking about? Resources?
Yeah, well, 44,000 teachers left the profession before retirement in the last year. That's 9% of the profession. We know that in secondary schools, head teachers are really struggling to recruit teachers to specialised subjects. In primary schools, we're seeing a number of unfilled posts and long-term cover. And children in primary in particular need good relationships, long-term relationships with teachers. They need to have support staff in place to help them with their reading, with their additional needs. And if the government don't fund the pay increase recommended by the STRB, then a number of head teachers are telling us that they will have to make cuts either to subject provision or to additional staff to cover a pay increase. Now, we can't afford to continue to have an education system where 9% of the workforce are leaving every year.
Well, what I don't understand is, and I hear exactly what you're saying. It's the same thing at my daughter's school. They're saying we're going to have to cut something, or what is the alternative? The government, however, will say that there was a fresh lot of funding. I think that was announced back in November. So where does the kind of reality lie? Does it lie somewhere between those two?
Well, the additional money put in the autumn statement was to keep the lights on. It was for additional costs. It was to cover increasing energy costs and inflation. It was to deal with problems that school leaders were going through at that time. What it isn't doing is giving teachers and school leaders the ability to plan ahead, to deal with the recruitment and retention crisis that they've got, or to deal with the significant decay in buildings and replacement of resources. Everything is having to be done on a shoestring, and you won't find a head teacher in the land that doesn't know exactly where every pound and pence is going. Many head teachers say they know exactly the date that they will go into deficit budget unless there is an increase in funding, so that they can provide the education that their children community need.
Just finally, it's quite windy where you are, but we appreciate you're on a picket line. You're already reballoting your members for industrial action in the autumn term. Is that just the process, or does that suggest that you don't feel that this is going to get resolved anytime soon?
Well, that's a process that we have to go through because of our anti-trade union laws. We have to reballot every 6 months. We're doing that at the same time as the 3 other education unions. That's a significant issue for the government to deal with. And we're getting resounding support from our members posting those ballots back. They don't want to take strike action in September, but if this dispute isn't settled, they will, and they will have to.
OK, Niamh Sweeney, thank you, Deputy General Secretary of the National Education Union. She's on the picket line. I can only report what I am told, which is my daughter came back from school one day and she said, they're having to share whiteboard pens, one between 2 children. And there was something else, I can't remember, but it's really bad, actually. The situation is really bad.